Hey everyone, welcome to the Blueprint Pilot course. And I wanted to first of all thank you for joining the course and doing this pilot program with us. We're really excited about this new feature in Canvas and really looking forward to kind of putting it through some tests and putting it through some real life situations and see where its strengths are, where its problems are, and kind of figuring out what it's going to be really useful for. I wanted to start by kind of reiterating what Ben talked about at the meeting. This idea that this blueprint feature is not intended for the use that we're going to try to use it for. Canvas introduced this feature kind of as a way for departments to roll out template courses. So for example, if the English department had a standard English 101 course that they wanted everyone, all the instructors that taught that course to teach from the same shell or from the same template, then they could set up a blueprint and then associate that out to all those faculty members. And if they ever needed to make a change, they make one change and that change gets pushed out to all the faculty members. So that's kind of the intended use. We're going to try to use this feature as a way to help manage multiple sections of the same course for the same instructor. So it's still going to be the same thing where you make one change one place and push it out to the associated courses, but again, kind of a different scenario or a different use case. So we're not exactly sure it's going to work exactly the way we want it to because it's not designed to be used exactly the way we're trying to use it. So that's why we're doing this beta, to figure out if it is actually going to work the way we want. So let me talk to you a little bit about how the process is going to go. I'm going to tell you a little bit and show you a little bit of the different things that we're going to do for you for this beta, and then show you some of the skills that you're going to need to help maintain and play with your blueprint courses as we move through the beta process here. So if we look at my dashboard here, we can see that I've got 3 courses here, and basically this is a very simplified setup, and I'll explain to you what these are. What we're going to need from you is the source material. So you're going to need to give us what course it is that you want to use as your material for your blueprint, and give us the item number of where that material already is in Canvas. This is probably going to be a past course. Ben and I will set up your blueprint master. We will add this course to your Canvas, and we will import the content from the source into the master. Okay, we'll do that for you. So that's why we need to get the item number of where the material is now that you want imported into your blueprint. Okay, then we will also need a third item, which is your blueprint target. And the target is the associated course. I only have one target here. But obviously this is only beneficial to you if you have multiple sections of the same course, so that when you make a change in the blueprint master, that change then gets synced out or pushed out to all your target courses. And those are called, in Canvas blueprints, those are called associated courses. So if you hear me use either of those terms, associated courses or target courses, I'm talking about the same thing there. And obviously this is only efficient if you're got multiple target courses. So we would need the item numbers for all the target courses that you want that blueprint associated with. So Ben and I will import the content from your source. We'll create the blueprint and bring in that content there, and then associate that blueprint over to the multiple target courses that you have given us. So that's the information we'll need from you, and we'll do that for you. And that's, as far as I understand, only Ben and I can actually create, set a course as a blueprint and set those associations. So that has to go through us, even moving on into the future. There'll be a process similar to what we have now or had in the past for merging courses. So a form to fill out with the relative information that we need, and then we can set up those associations. From there, you guys can manage your course contents on your own. So let's dive into this blueprint master here and see how this looks and some of the settings that you might want to be careful not to touch, or that what you want to work with. So if I go into this blueprint master, this has all the same material as the content course, as the source material. It's this project management course. If I go into settings, then the only way I can tell that this is a blueprint course is because here under blueprint course, this box is checked. And now this is how I enable this as a blueprint course. I don't know if you see this or not, so that would be some feedback that we're going to need. Again, some of the purpose of this beta process is to really find out what kind of controls you guys have over the blueprint and what are only things that the instructional designers have access to. So when I set this up as a blueprint course, I check this box and I enable that as a blueprint course. Within the idea of blueprints, there are some materials that can be locked. Again, the intention here was that if I'm sending out a template of all the English 101 courses, there are things that I want to make sure that all the instructors include, so I can lock those items. I don't see that with the use case that we're using for you guys to push items out to multiple sections of the same course, I don't see that that's going to be an issue and that we want anything locked. So I will set this up so that nothing is locked. Content, points, due dates, all those things are not locked. If items get locked here, that means in the associated course, in the target course, you can't change them. Okay, and I don't think that's what you want. I think you might want to have some flexibility. Obviously, if you're teaching two sections of the same course, one might have due dates on Tuesday, one might have due dates on Wednesday because of the meeting times or something. So I don't think you'd want to lock those things to your blueprint, but that's what this section here is. So if there was ever a reason to lock items, if you see that there, and I don't know if you have controls over this, but maybe be careful not to lock things that you don't want locked. The other way that we know this is a blueprint course is because over on the far right side, we have a blue stripe that goes down the side and this little tiny blue icon with some squares in it. And this is where your blueprint dashboard is. So if I click that little drawer slides out and I can see my associations. So I can see right now that this blueprint course is associated with the blueprint target. And obviously you guys will have multiple targets associated here. So those are your associated courses. This is the courses that are going to receive the changes that are pushed out from the blueprint. I can close that by clicking the X, or maybe not. Let me just see if I can go back. Okay. So those are my associations. I can see that I'm only associated with one course right now. Again, this is only efficient if you have multiple associations. Also, you can see your sync history. You can see changes that you've pushed out. And you can see that there are changes that are ready to be made. I've made some changes in the blueprint. And now by pressing the button here, I can sync those out to the targets, to the associated courses. And I think if I click here, I could see. So I've changed the course card graphic is what I've changed so far. And so if I wanted to push that course card graphic out, I could click this sync button. And now it's pushing that change out to all my associated courses. Right now I just have one associated course. But this is the process that you would do. So it is important to remember that then anytime you want to make a change that gets synced across all of your courses, you go back to that blueprint course, make the change there, and then click the sync button. Let me click done now. Let's go ahead and make another change. So let's go into the blueprint master. This is where we make changes. And let's say I wasn't going to use this textbook anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and just go into my home page, and I'm just going to make an easy change just for the sake of demonstration and testing. I'm going to delete that graphic of the home page of the textbook. Okay. Now if I go back into my, let's do this real quick. Let's open up a new tab and go into the target course just for clarity. And you can see that the home page on the target course has the graphic there, right? This is the blueprint target and this is the blueprint master. I'm going to go over to my blueprint dashboard there, it says there's one unsynced change. I can click that to view it, or I can just click the sync button here. I'll go ahead and click that. It's processing, pushing that change out to all the associated courses. So again, this is the advantage. This is what's cool about this tool is if I wanted to make a change to my home page and didn't want to have to go then make that same change to all the home pages in, if I'm teaching 3 sections of the same course, then I can just make that change here and push that out. So let's close that and then go back to the target course and refresh, and we should see that picture disappear. Okay, so it's gone now. So I've made a change one place and synced it over to all my associated courses. Now I can still make changes here. If I made a change here to this homepage, there's no way to push it back. Okay, so it's kind of a one-directional push. It's a one-directional sync. And that's why I don't really like that word sync. Sync to me implies both directions. This is really a push. So it's important that any changes you want to make, you make them in your Blueprint master. Okay, and you can tell that it's the master because you have the Blueprint dashboard over here on the right side. So you make your changes here, you press sync. Let's make another change. It's easier to delete things than add things, so let's just delete this graphic. Delete it, save it. We still have it here in the target course, but when I go to the Blueprint dashboard, it shows me I have an unsynced change. I sync that change. Refresh over here, and we'll see that graphic disappear. Okay, those are just very simple examples. Obviously, things that you guys are going to probably use more often is, edits to a content page is one. Maybe you add in an assignment. Maybe you change the point value of an assignment. Maybe you change the due dates of an assignment. All these things are aspects that can be then synced. So keep in mind that you would do this only if this is something that you want to change in all the sections that you're doing. We'll talk a little bit more throughout this process about how we want to get some feedback from you, but I just wanted to give you some of that information, show you a couple of the steps that you're going to use to manage your blueprints and your associated courses, and just reiterate some of the things that we're going to look out for and the reason that we're doing this whole beta process. Let Ben or I know if you have any questions, and stay in touch with us through this process, and we're looking forward to learning whatever we learn about this cool new feature. Thanks.